Hello, Pretty Girl Club. So, right now I'm actually getting ready for bed. It's currently 10 p.m. And I thought that I would get ready as I have a chit chat with you guys because something happened to me and I realized that so many girls all over the world could be going through the same thing, and it's a very much needed conversation. And it's how your attention is very powerful. Like, I've always been told that the minute you give someone attention and you are not supposed to, more often than not you're going to regret it because that is exactly what they wanted. And when you give power to someone who's not used to handling it, they won't know what the hell to do with it. So now, as a beautiful woman, your attention is power. You acknowledging someone else's presence is very powerful. And that's why when I walk and men catcall me, I don't give them time of day because I know if I acknowledge and show them that their tactics have worked and now they have my attention, I have failed myself. I was being reactive and I have failed myself. So I really avoid giving people any reaction whatsoever, whether they hit on me, especially if I'm not interested. I will ignore the shit out of you. And we're also going to tackle the art of ignoring. And I just felt like this was a very necessary talk. I could not go to bed without talking about it. So for my skincare, I'm doing the mix on method, FYI. If you don't know what that is, go to TikTok and search mix on method. Mixon. It's a form of like skin flooding, all that fancy stuff. So, anyways, the reasons why people would perceive your attention as power is either because of your beauty, either because of how mysterious you are and they can't figure you out, either how socially powerful you are. It could also be how socially aware, strategic, and powerful you could be. You could have influence, charisma, and have mentioned many times that I have charisma. Another cause as to why your attention could be very powerful is either because you have strong interpersonal relationships with other people. Those three things can all appear in one person. You can have a beautiful woman who is mysterious, socially aware, strategic, and powerful, and also has strong interpersonal relationships with other people. So we're not saying that it's an either or kind of situation. You can basically be that babe who people want to be. You're basically an it girl and you are like a mirror because if you're especially if you're mysterious, people are going to project their insecurities and fantasies onto you. They think that because you're quiet, mysterious, the version of you they have in their heads is accurate, and that's where most people go wrong because they think that they have you figured out until they it actually hits them that they had no fucking idea who you are. So a reason why people would feel like they are deserving of your attention because they're going to try and get your attention in one way or another, especially like I said, your attention as a beautiful woman is powerful. So most of them tend to feel entitled to our attention as beautiful women because for some freaking reason people cannot fathom that as a pretty person I have a whole persona outside my beauty, that I don't center my beauty all the damn time. There are times I don't always think that I'm pretty all the time throughout the day, 24 hours a day. There are times I just have other things. I have a report, I have a relationship, I have a crisis. I'm not always thinking about how beautiful I am because I'm not seeing myself consistently. Unlike someone who's constantly observing and watching you, they see you as the epitome of beauty, they see you as the epitome of mystery and power and strategy. They just are fascinated by you. That's the thing. And how you would tell that someone needs your attention for power or validation is when you feel like they're entitled to your attention. Every single time they'll try to get a piece of your attention, even if it's 5 seconds. It doesn't matter whether it's a 5 second interaction, as long as that person has made a move and you have acknowledged them, in their head they have power because you finally looked at them. Someone they have put on a pedestal has finally looked at them, acknowledged their presence. The thing about this is that you are put on a place of subtle worship, and most people do not even know that they're worshiping you. And that's why when you ignore them, they start resenting you, and they start wondering why the hell they feel so stung by the fact that you have turned them down or you have not given them a speck of attention. It's because your attention is literally like the highlight of their day. People have a lot going on. So when they feel seen, that gives them a lot of validation, a lot of audacity, and a lot of power on their side, even if it's illusional and delusional. And another thing, how you can tell that people are trying to get your attention is when your interactions have this first vibe. You feel like the conversation is not flowing smoothly. There's a lot of very awkward jokes, just weird body language. You can tell that they are performing for you. And I'm not trying to sound cocky, but the thing is, I know I am built like a goddess and I look good. But just because I look good, it doesn't mean we have to interact. But for them it's something. For me it's nothing. The interaction I may have with this person as a beautiful woman who might have a social standing of my own is that I don't get anything from interacting with them, but they get so much. And another thing that can help you understand when someone wants your attention is when there is testing boundaries. It could be physical space, mental, spiritual as well. Also, they could be trying to test your relationships with other people. They want to know how and why so and so likes you, why so and so values your opinion, why so and so gets to have access to you in a way that they don't have access to you. And this applies to both women and men, FYI. Because I thought it was just women until I recently experienced it from multiple men. And I was like, this needs to be addressed because my girls need to be aware of what the hell it's like out here. So they're going to test your boundaries. They're going to try and borrow you things. They're going to give you unsolicited advice. Also, they're going to try and poke your personal life. I've had someone ask me a very personal question to a point that I had to ask her, like, what made her so comfortable asking me that piece of information, because we don't know each other like that. Why are you fast forwarding this relationship when we don't even have a relationship to start with? And to me, this is where Mariah's song Obsession comes in, because people are obsessed. And I thought people could outgrow this because I've always tried to ignore the dynamics. But once I started this YouTube channel, of course, I'm going to talk about the day to day experience of a pretty woman. And so now, with the fact that I have to create content about this, it means that I am hyper aware of what exactly is going on in my environment. And yeah, it was crazy, it was a circus. So another thing that can show you that this person needs your attention to gain power or to be able to survive is when you feel like you being around them by default makes them be perceived as powerful or important people. Yeah, it can happen the same way when you see a beautiful woman and an ugly man. You can tell that this man definitely has money. Even if he's broke, you assume he has money. That is a way in which, as beautiful women, we give someone power by association or proximity. So, not just men, but also women. I have spoken about Lulu, a colleague of mine who was leeching and siphoning my social power because she felt like she could not handle the kind of heat that I bring in terms of social interactions and social strategy. I've always said I'm very socially strategic and I'm very discerning. So she knew that and she decided to cling on to me despite the fact that I had already rejected her with silence. So not just women, also men. They want to date the pretty girl, they want to be seen talking to the pretty girl, they want to be seen flirting with the pretty girl, they want to be the guy that goes to lunch with the pretty girl, they want to be the guys that party with the pretty girl, especially in the workplace where office politics is prominent and optics is power and perception is the reality. Like how people perceive you in the office, that is how they think you are. And most people who have that kind of thinking are people who do not have a life outside of the workplace. Because if someone has a life outside the workplace, for sure, they would know that there are many sides to you, not just that one thing. So they also want to be the kind of person who figures you out, especially if you're mysterious and elusive and evasive. They want to be the guy that figures you out or cracked you open or was able to get you to go to bed with him. And if it's a woman, they want to be the girl that gives you emotional support. They want to be the girl who has access to someone who is very exclusive, because like I said, when you're beautiful you are exclusive by default because you have currency, and currency is power, and power is exclusive. So there's that. And I said there's something called the power of ignoring. I have had to learn how to ignore people in a way that doesn't make me look mean, makes me look like I'm oblivious, but then at the same time, I'm very much aware of what's going on. I look past people, even if I know them and I do not want to interact with them, I look past them and I act like I'm so in my head that maybe I'm looking left, I'm looking right. I act like I am not present whatsoever. Whole time I saw them coming a mile away. Another way is I pretend not to hear them. Yes, I actively ignore people because I know that if I listen, they're just going to give me a whole bunch of bullshit simply because they want to be seen interacting with me. They'll literally talk about anything. This guy was busy trying to talk down on my relationship because he wanted to secure a chance to go on a date with me. And in that moment, I felt insulted because why the hell don't you have respect for my relationship? And secondly, what makes you think that you're worth cheating my boyfriend on? Like, be fucking for real. So, the art of ignoring is also just choosing to be unbothered completely, or making sure that you do not react whatsoever. You don't give them a reaction, not even a glance, not a smile, nothing. You're like a mirror. And it's going to probably make it worse because some people are going to say that you're not friendly and whatnot. But then sometimes your peace of mind is key. And like for me at our workplace, my boss doesn't care who I talk to and who I don't talk to. So who is going to report me for ignoring them because they wanted to talk about fish? The fuck? Go back to your desk. Go sit down. So I just felt like we needed to have this one-on-one conversation, this chat, because over here we talk about the pretty girl experience and the pretty girl logic. And I'm not just here to share my experiences, I'm here to share ways or strategies that I have implemented that have helped me navigate all these weird social dynamics and social power play that I have encountered in my day to day life. So share your experiences in the comment down below. Also, you can send your story time to my email in the link description below, and I might share it on my channel because I feel like the pretty girl experience needs to be heard and it needs to be understood. We have spent so many years being perceived, and people do not really know how much we go through day to day just because we are hot. We get people hot and bothered because we are hot. So anyways, stay fabulous, stay hot, stay Cleopatra, and I'll see you in my next episode. Bye.